second overall pick. I'm not saying from the very beginning of the game you don't try, but you could have comported yourself with total dignity.
No, zero chance.
Yes.
Total dignity.
Yeah,
zero.
They converted a 4th and 20.
I am totally with Nick.
What?
All right, this is.
I cannot believe
this. About. Like Nick said, they went out, they played hard, they played
did
well.
everything.
This is about the future. Now, I'll say this. They may have C.J. Stroud rated
But
ahead
still,
of Bryce Young.
It's still more valuable to have the number 1
right,
pick.
because trade options,
Yes.
I get it. But that must be in the thinking that
No, there was
we'll
no
be fine
thinking.
with the
They're a
second
terrible
pick. But
organization.
Overall,
Thank you, Greg.
it's a bad move. I got to hear the logic from y'all.
What?
Please, I mean, look, they overcame a 4th and 12. Then 4th and 20, they get the Hail Mary.
Yes.
And we make it seem like they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Look, this team is bad. They were more than trying to win.
Right.
They were trying not to go to overtime with two teams.
Guess what?
No,
knee
he
guarantees
was
you
saying
don't
take
go to
the knee.
overtime.
That's
that
the issue.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Why not?
You
Tell me
don't
why.
do that.
Why?
Because those guys in that locker room, on that field, they don't play for a draft pick. They're there now.
Right, which is why
They know if you were a receiver on that team.
No. Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen to what I'm saying. The guys in that locker room don't care about who's coming in here next year or the draft pick. It's not about that for them. So that's me as a head coach now having to go and explain to my guys, I had you take a knee because we wanted to make
But
sure
can I
we
ask
had
you a
the
question?
number 1 overall
Hold
draft
on.
pick. Do you know how much credibility you just lose as a head coach saying that to your guys,
Okay.
doing that?
Hold
No,
on.
man, you can't do
those
that.
guys in the locker room take a lot from the fact that so if they had failed on that 2-point conversion, their feeling this morning is drastically different about this season, their careers, their lives as a professional football player than if they made it. No, either way, they were a part of a terrible team.
Greg, if you were a receiver on that team and you know that potentially you got a franchise star quarterback in this draft, you're a receiver, and you've been going through all these different guys since Deshaun left. You wouldn't be wanting a top pick?
Yes, but we're going to get a top pick.
Number 1?
Yeah, not number 1. And I understand the value. I understand that. But let's say the Bears keep their number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. Are they drafting a quarterback?
But that's not the point.
Okay,
The point is the value of proposition. And I think I agree to a point that just outright throwing a game.
That's what it is.
No.
It's not just because you did it later in the game.
Exactly. It doesn't matter when you decide to do it.
Then forfeit the game. Don't show up.
No.
Let the fans play.
No, because then you are depriving the guys of the opportunity.
You did.
Hold on a second. Of putting stuff on tape. Of succeeding, of Akins converting that 4th and 20. All of those things were achieved. The Colts got to fight, you got to fight, and then with less than a minute left,
you give up.
Yeah.
You just say, nope, look, guys, all that work we just put in.
But that work is for nothing anyway.
Hold on. Let me throw this at you. Remember last year? We're going to get to this right away. The Chargers and the Raiders. The Raiders were willing. They were going to, it looks like they were just going, we'll tie. We'll take the tie. We'll both make the playoffs. Doesn't that go against the spirit of, hey, we practiced all week to win this game? Yeah. It wasn't until the Chargers called the timeout that the Raiders said,
that's all true. It's just crazy.
You remember that?
Look, I do remember that. But what you guys are suggesting, so if you both have kids, you're going into your locker room with your kids playing on that team and saying, hey, look, we're going to give everything we got, but we're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
That's what
we're going to win the bigger
game.
game.
They didn't say that.
Game of life. That's why I tell my kids.
No,
they
answer the question.
hard.
That's what
They
you're going to do.
played hard.
That's what you're going to do.
Definitely.
That's what you're going to do.
Literally all the time.
I want to hear.
Hold on.
Please.
Stop. But we see it we just don't see it directly. We see guys play their worst players. We see guys in the NBA have Mark Madsen shoot 12 threes. We see guys do it for a whole season.
We do.
We see guys in week 7 and week 18 start third-string quarterbacks. Right. We see it all. And we're like, oh, that's fine because it's not direct. What I'm arguing is play as hard as you can and then take a knee on a conversion and be honest about it, and it's fine. You know what really trying to lose is? Hiring Jeff Saturday. No, that one worked. That one worked for the Colts. Go ahead, Walt.
Quickly, before we move on, do you think a draft lottery would get rid of this scenario? Or
yeah, I think to a degree. No, I think a draft lottery would probably be an improvement, but until that's there, take the knee.
Do not take the knee.
Do not take the knee.
I mean, that's
okay.
Please.
I apologize to the country for that take.
Can we do the Staley thing quickly?
Yeah, good news. We're talking Brandon Staley now. Brandon Staley's Chargers had nothing to play for, but rolled with the starters. Mike Williams and Joey Bosa both left the game with injuries, and Justin Herbert took some good shots. And by good shots, I mean bad shots. Here's Staley.
We were trying to compete in the game, and we only have 48 guys on the team that are active for the game. And so we wanted to make sure that they went a good ways in this football game and competed at a high level. And then when we felt like it was right for them to get out of the game, then that's what we were going to do, slowly phase them out so that we get them ready for next week.
I know we only have 20 seconds here. Luckily, I will be quick. I didn't know the Giants had 98 guys available to them because they seem to be able to not play any of their important people.
That's a fact.
Brew was right. I was wrong, and I'm very sad about Brandon Staley. I was bewitched by Brandon Staley's
fourth time he said this
fourth down aggressiveness, Brew, which I think is smart and cutting edge, and I think you old fogies could learn something from him on fourth downs. But when it comes to every other part of being a head NFL football coach, the guy seems to be clueless.
You're out on him now.
So I'm done. I was wrong on Brandon Staley. I was one of his loudest prominent defenders. I'm done, Brandon Staley. So you go ahead and do your thing. But that was total mismanagement by a head coach. Yikes. That was bad. It's almost
Another W for you.
Brew, you're right.
Yeah, okay. It's just terrible.
I got nothing to
Coming
say
up
after
next,
that.
is Aaron Rodgers going to retire?
What?
Stay tuned for this segment and 100 other ones. We're going to third seed. Bengals playing the Ravens again in Cincy. Here's Joe Burrow on the championship window.
Window's my whole career, and everybody that we have in that locker room, all the coaches we have. You know, things are going to change year to year, but our window's always open.
Super Bowl champion Greg Jennings joins us, also in a turtleneck.
Yeah, you noticed that. I'm glad you know.
Sorry,
I knew I could count on Wild.
Sorry, Wilds. I know I shouldn't do this
here we
while we're
go.
on the air. No. I just have to make this trade real quick.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm selling my Bengal stock.
Wow.
Sorry, that was the chime to let it know it went through. Yeah. That's,
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like that?
Don't like anything about them the last 24 hours. It started with the coin. I didn't like that.
The coin. You were like, we should put the coin.
Did you see it?
Show.
You saw it? I didn't like it.
Celebration?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I feel like eyes off the ball, fellas. And also, I thought it was in a little bit of poor taste. Nobody loved the setup. It wasn't perfect. He brought the coin with him, put it in his glove. Didn't love that. You take care of business, and the coin flip game was never going to happen, and they did, and it won't now. And you guys know how much respect I have for Burrow, how much I've liked Burrow. I think he's a little wrong here. Yes, of course, they will always be good as long as he's there. But this is a unique opportunity for them. He is cheap. Jamar Chase is cheap. T. Higgins is cheap. It is on the board that the most talent they will ever have all together on the rosters right now. Certainly, and feels like flying a little too close to the sun for a team that in their first playoff game is playing a team that Joe has struggled against this year. Joe against the Ravens this year has thrown for 216 yards per game, has an 81 rating in the two games, has 2 touchdowns and 2 turnovers. And I didn't think the Bengals were overly impressive yesterday against Anthony Brown and company, even though the Ravens had 4 turnovers. So I don't like it. I think it bodes poorly for them.
Okay, a coin celebration is taking your eye off the prize, but a spinning huddle isn't?
No.
What
The coin, to me, the coin was talking about. It was talking about the playoff format thing is what they were upset about. That's why I'm saying.
Home field advantage.
Okay.
Yeah,
decided by
yeah.
I had no problem. He's right. Joe Burrow is right. He is the type of quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, obviously in the older guys,
Trevor
Tom
Lawrence.
Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Every year you're in the league, you're in your prime. You feel like you've got a shot. Nick, need I remind you? He went to a team that hadn't made the playoffs in 5 years. He went to a team that was so bad, a franchise that was so bad that people actually were saying he shouldn't go there.
Yep.
And he had them in the Super Bowl in his first full season.
He's been great.
So I have absolutely, Greg, no problem whatsoever with Joe Cool saying his windows his entire career.
Look, I don't know if there could have been a better response.
Thank you.
I mean, you see me in the turtleneck. I will take this turtleneck off and be your 4th receiver right now. Look, you got me ready. Are you kidding me right now? To have that type of response and to back it up, he backs it up. Like none of us at this desk, including the Patrick Mahomes fan that you are, believer that you are, can say that he doesn't back it up.
I think he's a great player. You guys know I think he's the second best quarterback in football. I'm simply saying I think they might be just